Hello, I'm back again with the book that I talked about in the first video, and I'd like to read a selection from this book called The Black Ghost. The reason I've chosen this story is because it is based on appearances and assumptions. I hope you enjoy this story. The Black Ghost. Assalamu alaikum, called Nabil as he rushed out the door. Wait, said his mother, putting on her hijab, then letting down her niqab so it hung over her face. A hijab is a covering that covers the hair that some Muslim women wear, and a niqab is a face covering that just shows the eyes that some Muslim women wear. Nabil peeked up and down the road. It was safe. No one was watching. She tousled his hair, saying, "Your first day at a new school. Are you nervous?" He shook his head quickly. Why didn't she hurry? Someone might see her. He felt a quick kiss through the niqab, and then he raced down the steps. The sooner he was gone, the sooner she'd go back inside, and no one could see her. "Have fun," she called. Nabil nodded and turned the corner. Out of nowhere, a boy crashed into him. Pencils, erasers, and papers went flying. "Are you okay?" "It was my fault. I should look where I'm going. I'm Danny. I'm in the second grade." Danny helped Nabil up. They picked up their things and started walking together. It turned out they were in the same class. By recess, they were best friends, but in the back of his mind, Nabil worried. What if Danny saw his mother? Would he still be his friend? A few days later, Nabil's mother followed him out the door. "Where are you going?" he asked. "Shopping and to the library, if that's okay with you." Nabil tried to walk ahead, but his mother kept pace. Nabil tried running. His mother jogged beside him. When they got to the spot where he usually met Danny, Nabil was worried. Danny was late. Nabil was glad. Finally, his mother turned towards the store. Nabil gave a little wave. None of the other kids would notice. Footsteps pounded on the sidewalk. Behind him, it was Danny. His face was white and his eyes were wild. He grabbed Nabil's hand, dragged him to the rest of the way to school. "What is it?" Nabil cried, trying to free his hand, but Danny didn't stop to explain. The bell had rung and they burst into the classroom. The teacher said, "What's the matter, Danny? Were you climbing trees again? Did you fall?" "No," gasped Danny. "I saw a ghost." "A ghost?" cried the kids in the class. "A big black ghost," said Danny. "It floated down the sidewalk after me. All I could see were its hands and slits where the eyes should be." He shivered. Nabil came forward and put a hand on Danny's shoulder. It wasn't a ghost. "How do you know?" asked a girl. Nabil grew red. It couldn't be a ghost. Not in the middle of the day. Maybe it was just a person dressed up." Danny shook his head. "What kind of person wears clothes like that?" Nabil shrugged. "Some people do. Not everyone dresses like us." "That's right," said the teacher. "Now get to your seats. Class is about to begin." Nabil sighed with relief. A few more questions and everybody would have known his secret. On the way home, Danny asked Nabil, "How come we never play at your house?" Nabil didn't know what to say. "Well," asked Danny, "when can I come over?" Nabil shrugged. Let's play hide and seek." Danny kicked a stone out of the way. "We've got to get home for lunch. I'll be it." "Okay." Nabil counted to 20 and then went searching. He looked behind the fence, in some bushes, under a bench and beneath the slide. He couldn't find Danny anywhere. Finally, he cupped his hands to his mouth and called, "I give up. Where are you?" He heard laughter above him. Danny was very high up, half hidden by the leaves. "Very funny, Danny. Come down now. It's getting late." Danny stopped laughing. His face looked pale and pinched. Nabil called, "Come on, you'll be late for lunch." Danny's voice was shaky. I can't." "You climbed up, so you climb down. You can do it." Danny gripped the trunk of the tree and shook his head. He had to go down. Nabil would think he was silly, but he couldn't move. "I gotta go get help," said Nabil. "No, don't leave me." Nabil looked around the park. It was deserted. Everyone was home having lunch. What could he do? "I have to go get help," he insisted. "Don't go. I'll be right back." "No!" Danny shouted. Nabil heard a large crack as the branch Danny had been sitting on broke. Danny screamed and grabbed onto another branch, desperately holding on. "Help!" cried Danny. "Don't let go," said Nabil. "I'll get the teacher. No, I'll fall." Nabil was about to go anyway when Danny cried even louder, "The ghost! Run, Nabil!" Nabil was so relieved, he ran right up to his mother. Without wasting a breath, she ran to the foot of the tree and began to climb. Danny shifted, trying to grab better hold of the trunk, when he heard a creak. The branch plunged, hanging at a bad angle. His hands were slipping. "I can't hold on anymore," he screamed, then suddenly didn't have to. An arm dressed in black circled his waist and let him firmly sit on top of a thick branch. He hugged the tree and stared at the black ghost, sitting a branch away. "I'll just set you there for a minute. Phew, I need a rest. You are heavy," Danny heard her say. Nabil took a deep breath and called, "It's okay, Danny. She's my mom." Danny said, "Your mom's a ghost?" Nabil's mother laughed. "It's a good thing I'm not. A ghost couldn't have picked you up. You're heavy." Danny was silent. He didn't want to look at the slits where the eyes should be. "Are you ready to go down now?" asked Nabil's mother. There was no other way. Danny plucked up his courage and looked at her again. This time, he saw inside the slits. He saw two pretty black eyes. They were smiling, and she didn't sound scary at all. "You want me to carry you down or not?" Silently, Danny nodded. Danny shut his eyes tight and clung to the lady in black. She smelled a little like his own mother, like soap. He felt the two of them moving down, slowly, inch by inch, until they stopped. When he opened his eyes, he and the lady were safe on the ground. The lady knelt and paused, waiting. "You can let go now, Danny." Danny quickly slid off her knees. "Oops, sorry." "That's okay." She checked his arms and legs. "You've been shaken up a bit, but I think you're all right." Danny nodded, saying that he was all right, and his face was red. Nabil must think he was so stupid for climbing so high. He must think he was a coward for being scared. Who'd want to be friends with a coward? Not me, thought Danny. Quietly he turned to go home. The lady called, "Can we walk you home?" "No, thanks," said Danny, still a little afraid. "Wait," she said, fishing in the pocket of her black dress. "How about a lollipop? It's great for the shakes." Danny smiled. "Oh, yes, please." She said, "Are you sure you wouldn't like us to walk you home?" "Okay," said Danny. Danny and Nabil skipped along, followed by the black ghost. Nabil was relieved. "Are you still my friend?" Danny nodded. "If you're still mine." Nabil grinned. With a mouthful of lollipop, Danny whispered, "Why didn't you tell me you had such a nice mom?" Nabil smiled. It was nice not to have a secret anymore. I hope you enjoyed the story and the reason why I chose it. Though we can't judge people by appearances, we need to give them a chance. Thank you.